Hello, welcome to the Glitchy Tasty Podcast.
E3 edition.
My, you're handsome. Please, take a seat, and someone will be with you shortly. I love you.
Alright, welcome to our Glitchy Tasty Podcast. This is our pre-E3 11 prediction show, where we get to make all sorts of crazy E3 predictions, and then like 1% of them will be true, and then we'll all look like idiots. But
Aquaman for 360. Unreal Engine. Crystal Engine from Square Enix.
Microsoft calls it quits and sells off Halo to Sega.
Yeah, Sega Halo.
That'd be great, man.
Using the Shinobi engine.
Master Chief and Sonic together at last.
Together at last. As if this has been something in the works for some time.
Hey, well, they've been waiting, alright?
Alright, well, I am Glitchy Tasty Content Manager Ryan Fahrenkoff, along here with my Glitchy Tasty crew.
Hi, I'm Jace, and I'm the other guy, and I make things, and I write things, and I talk to PR people. And make them not hate us.
Yep, and I'm Tony, the African American, the writer.
I'm Eric, the white writer.
It's true, I've seen them.
You can look in the staff page, and that's how they're credited.
I'm told I'm Portuguese. I'm told I look Portuguese, though, by many people.
You're not Portuguese?
No.
You should be.
No.
They have brilliant bread. Alright, anyway, before everybody turns
And Bill's
off.
here, too.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
and then
Bill.
there's Bill. Bill is a secret coder guy who secretly codes. Guys.
Say hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Alright, so, big thing, Sony. They just won't stop being in the headlines.
So they get to go first.
So they get to go first.
Get them out of the way, because they'll probably interrupt later on or something.
Guys, did you know that the PSN, the PlayStation Network, was down?
Really?
Did you notice?
I don't use it. I didn't really notice.
Oh, okay.
No wonder why I couldn't play Mortal Kombat.
Although Mortal Kombat didn't work the day after I did play it online, so I was a little confused at that.
Still a bit laggy, though.
It's because you weren't good enough.
Oh yeah, it's quite laggy.
Anyway, so one thing that I want to know what Sony is going to do. They have this big press conference scheduled for Monday. It's like literally they have a press conference, and then they have like a rock show, and then they have like hands-on stuff. They have like another rock show, and then so sometime during all this, there's going to be some sort of giant ass apology to everyone about the PSN outage. So I want to see. I'm just curious as to exactly what if they're going to say anything new, or is it going to be the same old, same old.
I think they've apologized enough.
Yeah.
No, I think they're going to have to.
Dude,
apologize
they spent like a majority of the time when they first, made mention of the thing, apologizing about
Well, I
it.
think them giving us free
And
stuff
then-
is the apology.
And then they're giving us free stuff, so I think there's enough apologies.
They
going
haven't
around.
apologized to journalists who had to cover the story way too much.
Actually, we didn't cover it at all.
Yes, we did.
We did like one
put an
story.
article up today.
Yeah, one story
PSN's
on that issue in a month. So we didn't. I just tried
That's
to ignore
because
it.
we're rebels.
It'd be crazier if Xbox Live got hacked and not the PSN. You know what I mean?
I think
It would be
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I think one of the things too now is it's time for Sony to move on from this. I mean, it's all you've been hearing from Sony for the last a month now, and it's kind of like, what do you guys have in store for the future rather than PlayStation
Right.
Network being down and apologies? Like,
Exactly. That's why I wrote that article. Like I was just like, "Hey guys, NGP, remember this? Remember this gaming tech thing? No? Oh, okay. Let's just go back to complaining again."
Well, what a perfect segue. Did you think of that? Because we're going to talk about the NGP
That
or the
PS Vita.
Yeah, the PS cousin
I'm just
Vito.
gonna call it the Don Vito. That's all it is.
Vito?
The PS cousin Vinny.
It's a stupid name. I think that's actually worse than Wii.
Great movie though.
I think the thing is, why are you going to change it from being PSP 2? The rest of the consoles are PS2, PS3, PSP. It makes sense. Why bring in another name out of nowhere? People are going to complain about it.
We're
They
just gonna
have to
call it
listen to
we're just gonna call it the PSV anyway.
And
So.
people are going to call it the PS Vista. They're going to miss it. And that's not a good thing.
No.
I mean, really, do you want to get away from PSP that bad? It wasn't. I mean, it didn't overtake Nintendo, but I wouldn't really call it
Yeah.
a failure of a system.
The
or anything
name
like
is
that.
not what made it a failure. UMDs made it a failure, and like countless.
Hey, I got
other
Hitch
things.
on UMD.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I don't know any
$29.99.
UMDs.
I got Kill Bill, so who
UMDs.
cares, you know?
I don't have any UMDs.
UMDs would have did good if they didn't sell them for like $29.99. If they had
Well,
the movies
yeah.
for $4.99 first off the bat, people would have been like, oh crap.
It's like $30 with no features, and the volume is too goddamn low.
Or buy it on DVD for $15.
Or that. You know?
I don't
Well-
see it.
Sony's showed off a couple of they've shown off Uncharted, they've shown off Resistance, and Killzone, all for the NGP or Vita, whatever it is.
Hell yeah, Killzone.
But I'm excited because at the press event, at the press conference, we're actually going to get some hands-on time with it. And really see is this thing, because they're saying it's like PS3 graphics. And, when you finally get to see up close, we'll be able to determine if it is PS3 graphics or if it's just, kind of halfway in between. Like, PS2, PS3.
That's honestly what could help the system if it can match graphics with the PS3. You know what I mean?
Honestly, one thing I'm really excited to try out too is the touchscreen on the back, because ever since controllers were made to not be squares, I've always wondered why they haven't put buttons on the back of the controller, because your fingers are just naturally there.
You'll make QuickTime events a lot harder.
Well, I mean, you don't have. I mean, when you press a button, do you check to see if it's L1 or L2? I mean, you kind of just know because your hands are placed there. It's just going to be interesting to see games like.
Has anyone seen an old person try to play a video game? They do that.
Yeah, but this isn't the Wii
it's
we're
like
talking
they see
about.
like a QuickTime event. It's literally like the red X or the red B on the Xbox. And
well, what I like about the fact about old people is that when we're old, we're not going to have that problem.
No, we'll be dead.
Our old generation is going to be different. Well, yeah, the world's going to end next year, but still.
Yeah, well, it'll be in time for the NGP.
I believe those.
There's some technology that we won't be able to master. Holograms, calling it
teleportation.
Teleporting
I think
holograms.
the main thing I want to see is from what they're gonna do to this, keep things different. I don't really want to buy the PS3 on the go. I want to see what they're gonna do as far as innovation with games.
Yeah.
Because I love Drake and Uncharted as much as the next guy, but why should I get excited for this game being on a handheld?
Well, you can take your somersaults on the go.
You know what I mean? You have a PSP game and you have a PS2 or a PS3 game. There's a distinct difference of feel. Yeah. You know what I mean? What am I going to get out of this? Obviously, it's going to be good games. Come on, I'm not saying it's not, but I'm talking about Sony as far as first-party games.
Work time fun.
So that's I think, to me, for Sony, that's their weakness, is their first-party stuff.
They're going to make work time fun for the NGP because of all the camera, the touchscreen, the back touchscreen. There's so much you can do in terms of, WarioWare-esque games.
No, it's not called WarioWare.
It's work time funware.
No.
No?
Yeah, pick-up and go games are one of the biggest sellers of mobile
Angry
gaming.
Birds.
Exactly. Angry Birds on the iPhone. You look at most what people play, and you have the hardcore gamers who are always like, this is why they don't like it, but shut up because they're not buying it, and other casual gamers are. But they buy their iPod Touch for Angry Birds, and pick-up and go games are what drive the sale of these systems. So what are they going to do to have great pick-up and go titles that are going to appeal to the kind of intermediate hardcore casual gamers and make them buy this versus an iPod Touch?
3.
Well, I think the biggest thing, I think the things like PlayStation Mini is going to be huge on the NGP to me.
Yeah.
Because you'll still be able to play Angry Birds and those games that are coming out for the Android market and iOS. You know what I mean? It's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to see what they're going to do to kind of make it so you buy it for the NGP and not the iPod.
Has to be priced.
Yeah.
Has prices.
That's the biggest thing Sony always has problems with. It's like Angry Birds for $4 or $1.
Yeah.
difference.
And then with the analog stick on the PSP, it's horrible anyways.
Well, I mean, these are different analog sticks.
Plus
They're
touchscreen.
actual analog sticks this time, so it might not suck. And yeah, plus it's a touchscreen. So, I mean, there's two touchscreens, so it wouldn't even matter. I mean, they also have the camera on it, too, now, so...
Yeah.
Can't wait to put my junk camo on Metal Gear Solid. Great.
So, alright, next thing I want to talk about is obviously first-party titles on the PS, what Sony has to offer for first-party titles. You know, we've seen Uncharted 3, we've seen Resistance 3, we've seen Twisted Metal, we've actually seen a lot of these games already. But Sony's gonna, you know, go further to drive these home to make sure we all buy these. And I don't know, I just have to say, like with Uncharted, I haven't been wowed by that yet. I mean, I had Uncharted 2 was fun when you're jumping around, but when they put a gun in your hand and said shoot, the game just was, I think, awful.
Well, I've never seen a series stray so far from its roots so fast than, you know, like Uncharted. Part 1 was great because you were mostly climbing, you got in a few gunfights, but a lot of it was exploration. And then Part 2 was like, you're literally fighting an army at one point in a city. I'm like, what the hell happened? You know, like, I mean, I get that, oh, I can climb signs. Okay, good. Climb a sign then. Don't make me fight, literally, like, fighting people, a helicopter fighting people, like, behind riot guard, like, things and, like, shields and stuff, and just, none of that is Uncharted. All that is I wish I was Tomb Raider when Tomb Raider sucked.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's telling me.
That's when Tomb Raider started getting crappy. Right
Yeah,
there.
because they put her in London on rooftops.
It's like, no, I want to
fighting
be Lara, running around with 2 guns in
Speaking
temples.
of, have you guys seen anything on the new Tomb Raider?
Yes, I want it.
It
Oh
looks-
my god, I want that so bad. It's like, it's ridiculous how much I want that over any Uncharted. Uncharted 1 was brilliant, but I mean, this looks crazy good. But yeah, I mean, going back to Uncharted, it's just, I've never seen something like that so fast. Usually it takes like either a new platform or just like the series going stale, and they're like, let's make it Gears of War Uncharted like Resident Evil did, and it's amazing that people are just totally eating that shit up too. It just really sucks.
Yeah, I mean, Uncharted 2 got such great praise that, of course, they're going to continue with what they're doing. And Uncharted 3 looks like it's going to be more of the same with gunplay. So I'm really not sure what to expect from this title. I mean, I'll probably end up picking it up and playing it, but I don't have high hopes.
I'm not gonna like it.
Well, it's also Resistance 3, and
What's that?
yeah. I have to admit, I've only played halfway through Resistance 1 because I got my PS3 when the Slim came out. And it was generic, I have to say. And I mean, I can't...
It's one of those games that won a popularity contest by default because
Yeah.
it's a launch title and it's like this or Untold Legends.
Yes.
Uh,
I remember that choice.
Well,
we,
come
had,
on, man.
we had to sell that stuff to people at Game Crazy.
yeah.
Even the box art looks boring. I mean, seriously.
I'm a skull. They do. I think they do that. This is like they show the cover art for Resistance 3 and it's a skull again.
So
But this time it's
boring.
drawn by somebody instead of just being.
Yeah, it's like literally trying to
Skull.
go the simplistic look like the Obama poster with a skull.
Obama has a skull. Wait, what?
No,
I totally
the
missed this. What are you talking
We all
about?
have
poster
skulls, didn't you know that?
it looks like, remember that Obama poster in 2008? It was like just kind of
Yeah,
the change poster.
yeah.
It was just like 3 different colors.
I'm totally thinking of some sort of red, white, and blue Resistance poster in my head now.
You totally think
So
they're
let's
wrong.
talk about a good game.
Anyway, so yeah, Twisted Metal.
Yes.
Twisted Metal, I'm looking forward to. Although I have to admit, I am kind of sick of seeing the same one helicopter
Yeah.
flying around suburbia.
Yeah.
It's great. That totally reminds me of Batman Arkham Asylum City, whatever the hell it's called now, Arkham City, where it's just like, hey, did you see the CG trailer of not Sam Fisher fighting the cops? We'll watch it again and again and again. Oh, here's a trailer of Catwoman.
This game, to me, it's going to be Sony's big one because they can key into the nostalgia point of this game because this is all they really have as far as
Yes.
that's concerned. It's a classic.
And
I think they really need to stop pushing up the marketing on this game too for them to sell.
They
They
need
need to
to.
sell this game.
I'm very weary on it because Twisted Metal in sequel form doesn't usually do good. So if it's a reboot, then that's great.
It's kind of a reboot.
But-
It's David Jaffe again, the
It
original
just gets
creator.
Twisted Metal
So
3 and 4 were garbage. Head On was
Was
garbage.
Jeffy involved
Black
in
was
those?
great.
3 and 4 he was not involved in.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
he
He
good.
was involved in Black.
Twisted Metal Black
And
was great.
he said before the problem that he had with Black was that they focused so much on story but not so much on gameplay.
Which I thought the
and-
game played just as
And
it's
he
supposed
said so
to
this
play.
one they want to balance it out a little more. But what worries me is I'm seeing pictures of Sweet Tooth in Axel's car and I'm like, no.
I don't want any
Do not
real-time physics either because that ruined Twisted Metal 3 when cars just falling all over the place.
I think now in this day and age, having real-time physics won't hurt the game. You know what I mean?
It
It's different
depends.
when
In
you have
that
it on
game, you got
PS1.
bumped, you flipped, and you were upside
No,
down.
that's
you know?
PS1. You know what I'm talking about? Like, this is PS3 now. Like,
Well, they haven't done anything since then, so I have nothing
You
to
gotta
compare
realize
it to.
too that the creator David Jaffe has done so much since that, and
yeah.
I think that they've kind of learned their lessons with the
Yeah.
old Twisted
I
Metal.
hope so too.
I'm a little weary. The multiplayer looks really complicated, but that just could be one multiplayer mode. I mean, if they're smart, they'll have a million multiplayer modes,
Yeah.
especially just straight up deathmatch.
I'm sure
I mean,
it'll be
everyone
standard
wants to just have
deathmatch,
regular
yeah.
deathmatch, and I hope they bring back Calypso. Cause that, man,
I want classic levels, man. I want that ice level from Twisted
No,
Metal
they'll
2
make
that
you
kept
die.
breaking
Oh
apart.
my
That would
God,
be really
I
cool.
hated that
And you know
level.
what?
That was
That
the
would be the
best level.
perfect pre-order incentive. You get some sort of map pack.
You guys
That's
know-
just
Yeah.
like classic ones all the way from 1
You fill the
to
rooftop
black.
and you fill that ice level in there.
You guys-
man.
And then that airplane level in Black, where you actually can shoot down the airplane. Pre 9/11, like.
You guys know damn well that's gonna be on this DLC.
Oh, of course,
Don't even
of
lie.
course.
all
I'll
sorts
pay
of
for
classic
it, too.
packs. Exactly.
Oh yeah, Infamous 2. Oh, so we're moving on to Ratchet and Clank off the one. I'm
Infamous
sorry.
2 is amazing.
Infamous isn't a bad series.
Pikachu's back.
I still haven't played it, and I have it. Yeah, Pikachu's back.
He's evolved
It's
into
just-
Raichu, alright?
I have a problem with the character development of pretty much every Sony game. It's like shaved head man does this, shaved head man does that. He has a backpack now. Sweet.
He has a goatee.
I
My
played through Resistance. Infamous 2. I played through 1/3 of the game.
In part 1.
And it was fun. I enjoyed it. But then when I realized that it was the next 2/3 are going to be the exact same thing,
Pokemon.
I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
Pokemon
I'm done with this. I got to the second island, and I'm like, within an hour playing the second island, I'm like, this is gonna be the exact same thing.
Thunderbolt.
What? That might be a bit of a stretch.
So,
But
I just had to put it down. I just couldn't finish it.
I love the fan art Age of Infamous too, when they showed character reveal and they showed the main character what he looks like now, and people were so mad because he didn't have his shaved head, but he looked just like Drake from Uncharted, just with a backpack and a clean shave. And they're like, no, he needs to look like he did before. So they just shaved his head. And
so he can't evolve at all. He has to be
No.
the same exact guy.
No, Sonic can't have green eyes.
Well, you guys realize in the new Infamous 2, he has new powers now. Now he turns into a Charmander.
Yeah, now he shoots ice or something.
Oh, damn, he's a Glaceon
So he's all 3-star Pokemon.
Yeah.
He's like even now. He's all the evolutions.
I mean, we're giving the game a hard time though, more for aesthetic than actual gameplay.
Yeah.
It'll probably be fun.
The game actually got really great reviews from a lot of people. So the game's good. It's just the character.
I just thought it was a little too repetitive. I mean, it's also harder to play a game, I think, once the hype wore off. I mean, I played the game like 2 years after it came out.
Yeah.
And so it's a little difficult to kind of get into like the feel of it, but it was fun when I was playing it. Now on to Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank is like Sony's only platforming game left.
I'm so
for
worried.
a system that was born from platforming.
They're making a new Sly Cooper, but I'm worried about this one after the catastrophe that was Heroes on the Move. We're like, oh cool, it's a platforming game. Well, all your favorite platforming characters that aren't Crash Bandicoot come together. It's in Spyro.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was the first one to call that shit out.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's true, you were, but it's not even a platforming game. It's Mario Party without the fun.
Which, I mean, they could have advertised as Mario Party, but that's the problem. Their biggest failing bet was in advertising, where they didn't advertise it as a party game. They advertised it as a platformer.
A platformer where you can do 2-player. Okay, that sounds cool. Looney Tunes did that in the 360.
And if your game is worse than Mario Party 8, you suck ass. Seriously.
Where's my Crash Bandicoot Spyro crossover game?
The thing is,
it's on the Game Boy Advance.
Well, yeah, but where's my one on the next-gen system?
The thing is, I think
not on the Game Boy Advance.
Sony,
plug your Game Boy Advance into like some kind of Blu-ray player that
I
has
have
an
a
up
Game Boy
converter.
player for my
Has an up
GameCube,
converter
right?
and play it on
there
the.
you go.
I can play it on my
Well, why are
GameCube.
you complaining then?
Sony needs to somehow, some way, get Crash Bandicoot and Spyro back. I don't know how they need to go about doing that, but they need to get.
Where did
them
they
back
go?
because
Why
Universal and
are they
Elijah
Universal
Wood
owns
owns
them. They just need to get.
Oh, interesting.
This is at this point they really.
Yeah.
Need it.
How did Universal get a hold of them?
I don't know, but you remember back in the day when PS1 was like the king, every commercial had Crash Bandicoot or Spyro or something in it.
Exactly.
Remember Crash Bandicoot swimming and like fighting Parappa the
Those
Rapper?
commercials
And, like,
were great
those
with
were
Crash
so
Bandicoot.
good, and then all of a sudden like Crash is going multi-platform, and then the world ended.
Yep.
This is random as hell, but that just reminded me of the old Dreamcast commercials.
It's thinking.
With Gary Payton.
It's thinking.
Gary Payton Sonic.
Yeah, and Taka Harashi from
Yeah.
Virtua Fighter, the sumo wrestler.
I mean, if Ratchet and Clank can just go back, I mean, Ratchet and Clank as itself, as a series, has been able to hold on pretty well to the whole platforming thing. The past games have gotten good reviews, and this one, as long as they don't blow it, and there's still Insomniac behind this one, I believe,
Get rid
right?
of Clank.
Yeah.
So-
Hornswoggle.
Secret Agent
Get rid
Clank.
of Clank.
Hornswoggle.
Get rid of Clank. This is there.
Yeah.
You'd be
but-
good.
Oh yeah, guys, PS Move.
4-player.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the move.
What?
Because it's
I
terrible.
love those games.
My wallet hasn't forgotten about the move.
I didn't buy it.
It's dumb because it's just such a complete platform abandonment on Sony's part. It's just like, we're going to revolutionize everything. Oh, wait, no one's buying it?
Oh wait.
So the NGP's coming out.
Oh wait, we already did this? Oh, I forgot.
Well,
Yikes.
it would be stupid to think that they're not going to show off.
They're going
what
to show
the movie's
something.
gonna
They
be.
have to.
I mean, they have already shown that it does work with shooters. I mean, it worked kind of well. It worked decent enough with Killzone, from what I heard. I mean, I played it a little bit with it, and I wanted to go back to the controller, but it was interesting. But there apparently, when you play it online, you have to play with Move, or else you can't
It's tough though.
even win.
Make games for the Move, make games for the PS3. It's tough when you do both, because like shooters, it's like, okay, it worked okay with this. I'll go back to the controller. Well, if it doesn't work amazingly well with this controller, then I'm not even interested.
I mean, one of the other things that this needs to happen too is they need to get the third party developers involved. I mean, they have no more
That's
Heroes
the big
coming
problem.
out.
Yeah.
Why not just get some of the Wii games that have been out for a while and making PlayStation Move compatible? I mean, I just don't see why they're not just taking and doing that right now.
I mean, it's like that Wizarding game that they showed at last year's E3. That thing that idea had potential. It just was terribly executed. Because all it came down to is go into a menu, choose your spell, and then thrust the controller forward. Instead of like doing something with the controller to conjure up that spell, and every different move did something.
Yeah.
So I think Sony, like you said, they just need to kind of get third-party developers more interested in Move, and show them that it's not a gimmick that they're going to abandon. Because if Sony abandons it, third-party will abandon it.
Yeah, and it's
Sony
funny
has to
because
keep
Sony
driving
hasn't
it.
even been talking about it. Like with Kinect, at least Microsoft's been like, "Don't worry, guys, games are coming," but they don't talk about the games. But at least they say something.
Again, it's coming down to what I always been saying for this generation in the whole is that these companies are not advertising properly. It's like I don't understand why there's no commercials going on for some of these games. Why there's no, and they're so surprised that these games and accessories don't sell. You need to get the word out.
It's funny because look what Kevin Butler did for everything with Sony.
Yeah.
The second he came out, sales just like turned around. And then the only commercial we really have him playing Move besides the actual Move commercial where they like, look how great these games are, and they show that goddamn Sports Champion game.
Then Marcus ruined it all.
And then Marcus came and destroyed the PSP. But like, there hasn't been another commercial just talking about Move because they've had nothing to talk about.
It's not just
it
Kevin
sucks.
Butler alone. It was a price drop in the Slim too that helped sales.
That doesn't happen. What are you talking about? What? It was just Kevin
That needs to
Butler.
happen to a price drop in the Move. There's no reason.
On Move,
Yeah.
yeah, Move needs to not be like $300 or whatever it
Full
is.
Well, all right. So, last thing with Sony I want to talk about or want to bring up is, and this is obviously this is like a 1% chance I even mentioned something in E3, but the PS4. They have confirmed that they're working on the next gen, which would be stupid to think they aren't. We're expecting Nintendo to kind of Nintendo is going to talk about their Project Cafe. So I'm wondering if Sony's actually going to bring up the PS4 just to remind everyone that, you know, they're still, you know, they're looking forward and that they're not going to let Nintendo take their, you know, take their market share.
Honestly, I think that that guy who I forgot his name, the guy who actually kind of outed that they're working on PS4. I just think he was just some guy who spoke too soon. I don't think Sony has any plans to mention anything about any sort of future hardware. They're having a hard enough time convincing people to give them their credit cards again, let alone talking about new hardware that we then have to buy.
I'm already calling Nintendo winning this whole E3 again.
Nintend's gonna win. They're gonna win the E3. They're gonna win the E3 championship.
Because it's like you got the next wave of 3DS games coming out. You got whatever's left on the Wii coming out, and then you got the Project Cafe stuff to announce. It's
so what do you think Sony is going to announce? Because they have 4 mystery games, or I think it's like 4 games that they haven't talked about before. That get it 4, and they're going to say them at E3. And I'm just like, Battle Arena Toshinden?
I think it's going to be... I honestly think it's going to be NGP games because, like, I think it's harder for Sony more than any other, like, than Nintendo and Microsoft to really have something come out to say we need to have something that really attracts people to our system. Now you can't just be coming to the market now and just having a new system with better graphics. You need to have a lot more than that now to come out.
Maybe we're gonna Crash Bandicoot and the Spiral game.
After Nintendo and the Wii, I mean, you just can't come out with a system with nothing else. You just
I mean, what franchise hasn't been touched recently? It seems like all of their core franchises are being utilized right now.
Final Fantasy. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
That's not really
7
their franchise. So.
I know. Well, it might as well be a Sony franchise because.
Well, that's. I mean, I think they need to. They need to really like focus on first party titles. To me, you need to create new things. You need to. You know what I mean? You just need to get out there and make things. These Uncharted, Resistance.
It's tough because
same thing.
They ruined so many of their old
SOCOM, they're all the same genre. It's just like I just don't see these games. I don't see 20 years from now me going to my friend, hey, you remember Resistance? Not happening. It's not happening.
That's true.
Yeah, I remember. It was terrible.
I mean, maybe Sony will wow us by coming up with some new franchise. Maybe they'll introduce something new.
They need it.
PlayStation
so
Pets.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, that Sly Cooper, I bet they're not going to talk about it at all. Because they're too because Sucker Punch is too busy promoting Infamous too, because they also make Infamous. So I mean, if they announce it, that'd actually be kind of cool, but...
Fatality.
Now,
oh my god, Microsoft!
This one will be shorter because Microsoft has less first-party stuff.
Microsoft has, like, Gears of War 3, which, I mean, we've all seen, some of us played, whatever.
I'm excited for it.
I'm definitely excited for it, especially after that War Pigs trailer that came out. But
sound
there isn't really
enthusiastic.
well, because there isn't really much to say that hasn't already been said about it.
Yeah.
Like other than the story, and, the campaign and whatever surprises they have there really isn't a whole lot to speculate about with this game.
Yeah.
It was supposed to come out in April.
We know
and it got pushed back. So
we know about Beast Mode already. We know obviously there's gonna be Horde and the multiplayer. We've already gotten to play that with the beta, which I'm glad it got pushed back because that gave the chance to the beta because it needed the beta.
Most games it's going to clean up a lot of little things with the multiplayer. It's going to really. I'm hoping for Gears of War type multiplayer, not in terms of gameplay experience, but in terms of user experience, like playing with my friends who actually want to play Gears of War 2 and not succumb to playing Gears of War 2 because there's nothing else.
Exactly.
I think it was smarter than to push back Gears of War 3 because you imagine E3 right now. They'd be in so much trouble. What the hell are you going to show?
Oh my God! What would they show? Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah,
I take that
true.
back. I take that. Sony's not the one with the issues right now. It's Microsoft.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, at least Sony has things to announce and talk about. Microsoft has Gears of War 3, the rumored Halo remake, or whatever it is that they may or may not be working on.
And the Halo Tower Defense game is probably coming out.
Yes. Halo Racing, I'm looking forward to it.
And games on Windows Phone 7.
Halo Cards with the C.
I mean, Microsoft could...
I can't wait for Fable.
For Microsoft's press conference to be a success this year, I think they have to do is they have to kind of push Kinect to the side a little bit. Not don't talk about it, because I'm sure they have some good Kinect titles coming out and they can't forget about them.
Dance Nation 5.
But they really need to focus back on the core gamers, because last year was all Kinect, and all core gamers were kind of like, what about us?
That's
kind
kind of what they're saying, like,
been with you for,
like their
the beginning?
tag or their mantra or whatever for this E3 is like something about like the future of gaming, and it's like apparently it centers around Kinect.
Graphics.
And how many of you guys have used Kinect for instant messaging your friends and talking?
I don't own one. So
you guys can't see this, but all of our hands went up.
Yes.
All of us.
Twice, both our arms.
Yeah.
1 foot too.
I love going to parties and playing my Kinect and playing Dance Central. That's what we do all the time.
Yeah,
we go to parties.
We did that the week you guys got one.
Hey, we've played Dance Central once since then.
Yeah, but you don't go to parties.
No, I mean,
Play
but
Dance Central.
Kinect parties?
they need to get back to core gaming. They need to show us, what else they're doing with, what is Rare doing, other than making the avatars?
I'm pretty sure Rare doesn't actually exist. I bet you there's like a building like Rare headquarters and nobody's ever gone in, but one day someone's going to get curious. They're going to go to the door and it's actually a cardboard like painting, like a matte painting. It's going to just tip right over. There's going to be nothing in there.
Instinct 3. Damn it.
Well, I don't understand.
Microsoft has no fighting games, and that would be great for them to get.
Kakuto Trojan, man.
Kid, they make so much money.
Why is Nintendo benefiting from Rare more than Microsoft is when Microsoft owns it? It makes no sense. Like, I bet you Diddy Kong Racing DS made more money than anything that in any of the Banjo games or anything like that has come out on Microsoft. That's
Banjo,
sad.
Oh God.
I feel all about Banjo. Jesus.
Why wasn't he in Mortal Kombat? Would have been a perfect guest character.
I'd pursue it instead.
One thing, though, that Microsoft's probably going to continue doing, this is what they always do well, is great support for third-party titles. I mean,
definitely.
there's always...
What?
Lost Odyssey.
Oh, yeah. That thing.
Well, I mean, for Modern Warfare 3, that's coming out, and that's going to be a huge game, probably biggest game of the year. If, unless Battlefield really does what everyone thinks it's going to do and sweep out.
It won't beat. You can't beat.
Well, yeah, but either way, Microsoft's going to announce something like first, exclusives on DLC like they always do. But they're going to show off all these great third-party games that are not necessarily, exclusive to Xbox. But they're going to show off either exclusive content or tell us why we need to buy them on Xbox.
You see, really, all they need to do is do what they did 2 years ago. Because last year they did like Kinect in 5 minutes for Call of Duty and Reach and Gears. And the year before that, they even did like a friggin' like montage of upcoming games, most of which weren't even announced. Like within 30 seconds, we got told there was a new Crackdown which sucked, and a new Left 4 Dead, all in one montage. And none of those games were even they weren't even talked about, let alone announced. Like no one was even rumored to know about those things. And they were just like, here you go. And they just kept doing that pretty much the whole show until they started talking about Kinect. Hey, look, it's Forza, and here's a car. Good. It's wonderful.
That's because the best part about racing games is staring at your car, right?
Yeah, I get to walk around my car and Kinect and then touch things. I'm really excited.
Well, that's another thing I wanted to bring up too with Kinect is that I think every 360 game should be having some kind of Kinect support, whether it be an option or anything. I mean, I always say more options are better than less. True. You know what I mean? It's just why didn't they?
As long as those other options don't interfere with,
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be forced to use it.
That's the funny thing,
You know
like
what I mean?
like we were talking about Killzone. That's the problem. Is like it's move support and then there's controller support. But if you were to go online, there's no separation of the two, and people who have move have a clear advantage in terms of just being able to like target you. Because it's almost like an auto lock on it.
It does have
just,
an auto lock.
It's
That's
just
what makes it really hard.
And it's just you can't play against people using move while you're using a controller. Not because they're better or you learn to play better, but because it just helps them. And there's no way to separate that.
It's like playing when people have like it's like in GoldenEye where you have handicaps and stuff like that.
I was just gonna say that in GoldenEye. That's crazy.
Odd Job.
Yeah.
Killzone 3 is like Odd Job.
Well, actually, one thing we glimpsed over is the Halo remake, and they could talk about this, and this would be a huge thing for them to officially announce, because everyone who's played Halo 1 would probably buy this, and then more.
Well, it's just
Yes, I would.
it's funny because Halo 1, if you were to go back and play it today, still somehow stands up, even though obviously the visuals aren't what they should be.
It's 'cause the game-
and the multiplayer has nothing but colors
And
instead of textures.
Legendary
and-
makes you want to kill yourself, but it's still good.
But just imagine if they were to manage to keep that same, I guess, spirit alive,
Yeah.
and just update the visuals, maybe fix a little bit of the story, so like Cortana doesn't say random
I just
British
want the Halo
insults.
1 maps online because they were the best.
They did it.
I think the problem with that.
I want Chiron
I think
back.
the biggest problem for them with the Halo remake was going to be the whole online experience. I
Blood
mean,
Gulch.
I
Again.
just really don't see them like saying we're gonna make this Halo remake and then not have everything that Reach has.
True.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and that's gonna be one thing people are gonna complain about. This isn't like Halo 1.
There are no
Well, it's gonna be
jetpacks.
I think that's the main problem they're gonna have with that game. Is just people complaining about that.
Well, hell, even if
more
they
than
did,
anything.
even if they did what they did with ODST and like give you Halo 1 remake and then the multiplayer of Halo
That would
Reach,
work, yeah.
that would work. And throw in all the map packs or something.
I mean, it's with Halo Reach. I didn't think it'd work going back to health packs, but it worked fine. It worked great, and
Actually, I
don't miss
prefer
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't miss the fully rechargeable health. So I think they can go back to that. I don't think they'll have a problem with that. I mean, they could even tease Halo 4 for all we know.
Halo Wars
Halo
2.
0 would be like Perfect Dark Zero.
Halo Wars 2. I'd play it. Halo Wars is great. If you
Yeah,
like RTS.
You know what? That's
They've said that
probably
that's
something
not
that they
dead.
could do.
Yeah.
They said that franchise of Halo Wars is not dead. so
Ensemble
that's
Studios is dead.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
going on 3DS.
They're gonna give it to they're gonna give it to
3DS,
Rare.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Give it a Rare.
All right, so I mean, really with all that talked about, there's only one thing left to talk about is the Xbox 720.
More Red Ring.
Xbox
No.
next.
I do think if anyone was poised to quickly come up with something, I think Microsoft is in a better financial situation than Sony to announce a new console,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
because they've been the king in the console wars between PS3 and that, and obviously Nintendo's been beating them until recently, because everyone played their Wii and had fun with
No,
Wii
they've
Sports.
actually. It turns out everybody actually owns a Wii already.
Oh, yeah.
There's nobody left to sell
You
one.
can't buy anymore.
That's nobody else. Nobody doesn't own a Wii, so they can't sell it.
But I think Microsoft is probably the most poised to come up and follow Nintendo with the next generation.
My question is too: is if this new Xbox, are they gonna have some kind of like? Because I know the Windows 8, the
Oh
whole
God.
phone connection to the computer, are they gonna have something like that where you have all three?
It would make sense.
You know what I mean? Like
it would. That's one thing they'd have to do. They'd have to start unifying their products. Because
Yeah.
that's one thing Sony does pretty well. Well, although they kind of ignored it for a while, but like getting something to work on a PSP and a PS3, whereas like say Microsoft and their Windows. What was that phone service they did before Windows Phone 8? What was that? Kin?
Kin.
Remember Kin?
That was awful.
And then Kinect came out. See? Look at
Yeah.
that.
Connect.
Well, I think the next generation is going to be. I mean, remember when the Xbox 360 and the PS3 were coming out? We were hearing about these proprietary chips like Cell and whatever the Xbox uses. I
Remember
think
the
is power
emotion engine
PC.
for PS2? No. Oh,
Yeah, that was
never
weird.
mind.
Anyway, I think they're just going to start going more towards what PCs use because it's cheaper for them to do. There's less overhead in R&R or R&D, and yeah,
Rest-
yeah.
just resting and relaxing. Oh, look, I made a console while relaxing. Best vacation ever.
And PCs are, great graphics machines now, especially with multiple graphics cards. And
Now that AMD and ATI are one entity, they are
Yeah.
ERMAC.
I just think that the next generation is going to be more streamlined in terms of, being more like a computer, and they'll probably take advantage of that with integration. I mean, they started doing that with the Xbox. You can play your music, stream your music and photos from your computer. And I think they'll probably finish that and do a lot more integration and kind of blur the line between the two.
Yeah, this time it'll work.
Yeah, it's just exactly, well, that was it. Like, the technology was just young for consoles back then when they kept promising it. Remember when the PS2 was going to have a DVD burner built in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Remember when the PS2 was going to be able to do updates?
What?
Remember PS2 online?
I'm telling you this right now.
It went online.
I'm telling you this right now. If the PS2 was able to burn this, it would have the same phase the Dreamcast did.
Oh, God.
Nobody would buy the PS2.
Poor Dreamcast.
PS3 would not exist right now.
I never bought a game for you.
How's that Dreamcast 2 going?
Remember when you had to have a
All
network
day.
disc to set up online?
For PS2, that was the best thing.
I used to
That's
play
when
Quake
you
3
lost.
Arena.
Oops, I
online,
lost my PS2 network disc. It looks like I can't play online anymore. Thanks, Sony. Oh wait, I have Tony Hawk 3. It just works now. Yeah.
With all the, I was gonna say that maybe Microsoft is not gonna show a next system, but 3D is getting big lately, and it doesn't support it.
Apparently, it magically does now.
Oh, all of a sudden,
Like system,
it just does.
Just does system
Yeah.
update.
Surprise.
Nintendo. Project Cafe. I'm assuming they're actually just going to give you coffee kits in a box.
Yeah.
It's going to have that
And-
Star Trek technology.
It's gonna have Mario sipping a, Mocha Laka Chocolate or whatever the hell.
Yeah,
it's
tall size, of course.
Well,
Grande. Veni Vidi Vici or something.
everyone's excited to see what they're going to do with this. And, the rumors are flying around, and it's going to be just as powerful as the Xbox and PS3, or more powerful than the Xbox and PS3. And we're not sure what it's going to do yet, and we'll find out, next week. Which is weird to think. Like, we've been hearing rumors for, like, the past 3 months now, and it's like,
Yeah,
Tuesday we'll find out.
that controller could somehow be in our hands next week. That's
Yeah.
pretty nuts in the butts.
that's one thing I'm really afraid about with the controller. Is, if the rumors are true, and this controller has, an HD touchscreen built into it, with
a
all
camera.
these, with the camera, and wireless, and,
It's a $100 controller right there.
yeah,
Yeah, well, that's
gyroscope.
it.
Is the controller going to be almost as expensive as the system?
It's like,
No
let me
one-
get a controller and a Wii. Which one's?
We'll say goodbye to $50 games too.
Well, I
I'm sure
think
they'll match up
my-
prices.
My whole thing is with, like, I've been saying this for years. When it comes to price, I'm not really worried when it comes to Nintendo. Only because the prices usually are not bad.
Yeah.
But my thing is...
nice
yeah,
term. Not bad.
But... I just don't know, like, what they're gonna do.
It's
as
tough
far
because they make their money by nickel and diming you with accessories. Like, our system's only $200,
Yeah,
but this controller is $60.
They make enough money from Pokemon alone.
Well,
to take a hit from that shit.
That's
Like,
true.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's the thing. They just have to show that they're not Sony and are willing to
Yeah.
cut it.
Yeah.
For the consumer, which they've done in the past. I mean, it's not out of Nintendo's like idea set or whatever you want to call it
Realm of
to
possibilities.
make things. Yeah, realm of possibilities. Thanks,
Well-
making that mystical. But it's not. It's not unbelievable to think that they would make the system lower than what they spent on making it, just to get the consumer and even just the initial consumer install base. Once they got those people, they got everybody. Because say if they sold, completely sold out within the first month, that first month group, they're going to show their friends. They're going to talk about it on the web. It's a lot different than say when the Dreamcast or when PS2 launched. There really wasn't any social networking going on.
Yeah, it's
so
very-
like
very minor.
people couldn't tell you
MySpace.
how awesome certain Dreamcast games were because there was really, other than like message boards, which I'm sure parents loved to go on message boards back then. There was no way to tell people that, to calm the fuck down, that the PS2 isn't that spectacular at launch. But that, because I remember so many times where like you'd go to like say like a Kmart or something because that was popular back then. You'd go to a game store or anywhere and you'd hear someone like, "No, I'm not gonna get the Dreamcast. I'm waiting until the PS2 comes out. Apparently that cures cancer." It's like all the stupid hype that they built up for that damn thing, and then you play the bouncer and you're like, "Oh, good, my third-party controller doesn't work."
smugglers.
I'm still mad about that. I want a version of the bouncer. That's what Sony's gonna announce.
Bouncer 2, The Reckoning.
Because I'm the only person who played the bouncer, I think, in this world.
I played
beat
it for like 5 minutes.
It's funny because the game's only 7 minutes long, so you were pretty close to beating it.
Almost beat it, damn.
There was a girl named Echidna that looked like Knuckles. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying about that
I mean,
one.
Nintendo's really has to play catch up with this because just for the fact of being behind them in hardware, yeah, the Wii is not as powerful, and if they come out with a system that's more powerful than current systems, they still have catching up to do software and innovation wise. I mean, let's say this game.
You didn't have to worry about
Yeah,
Nintendo and innovation.
No.
Ever.
Well, hold on. Because you have to think, if they're going to try and go after the, the modern warfare fans, and they say, "Oh, we'll play Modern Warfare on Project Cafe," and then they completely butcher the online. Because if they continue with the online system they have now,
yeah, nobody's doing
there's not going to be any drive.
But I've heard they're not even doing like the Nintendo like shop the same way.
They said friend code, but it's just the system has a friend code and that's it. No more friend code for this game, friend code for that.
Still, I don't think friend code or not, I don't want a friend code. I want a username. I mean, it's almost like Nintendo is afraid to infringe on some bizarre patent somewhere of usernames.
Maybe, yeah.
And so that's why they came up with this really bizarre system.
I named myself Spider-Man 2099 sued. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I've been saying this for like
you should just pretty much Google. Everyone's doing OpenID right now, where you just use your own email address wherever you are for every other website in the world.
Yeah.
But it's just they need to do something.
Yeah, the online is the most important, I think.
Especially today,
They need to improve. Because, I mean, think about it. I mean, I always use this as an example because, to me, back on the PS2 and GameCube and Xbox era, could you imagine if the disc were the same format as the PS2 back in the day? GameCube had the same format, and you were getting every game that you were getting on Xbox and PS2 and Nintendo's first party. Would Nintendo be on top during that generation? I think they would have.
If they had taken things a little more
seriously,
especially going back to online with the GameCube, for example, there was 4 games and only 2 of them were worth playing, and even then to even go online,
the GameCube could go online.
Technically it couldn't out of the box. You had to get this stupid adapter that went in the bottom that I only saw at Game Crazy. I didn't even see it like anywhere else, and it was such a hassle to even get it going.
Yeah.
And that was their big mistake. Obviously, they learned from that by letting some Wii games go online. But they've gotten the hardware part down. They got the stuff in the box. But now they need to make it so it's more user friendly.
But I'm saying, like, Nintendo does. I don't even think Nintendo realizes that they have a pure advantage when it comes to how important first party is. I mean,
they do. They totally.
That's why I don't understand. I've never understood the point of them not catching up as far as the hardware is concerned. I mean, could you imagine if on par with 360 and PS3? Right now, as far as the Wii's concerned, they would have no trouble at all. Like, I can play Modern Warfare, but still play Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart Kirby. It's like, that needs to happen. Like, it's just,
well, that's what they're supposedly promising with this one.
Yeah, but
the big push that they're having is Grand Theft Auto 5 is apparently going to be on Project Cafe. Now it'd be great if they got some sort of 3-month exclusivity. That would cement them.
But the problem still is when Microsoft and Sony announced their new console. And they're ahead of them again as far as what's going to happen. Like,
hopefully they didn't just make a jump. They leaped.
So that's kind of why I'm really excited for the touchscreen too. Like, I'm hoping it can be like the VMU and the Dreamcast, but 10 times more awesome because it maybe even if it was like DS graphic capability on that, and they just took a hit for it's like $80 for the controller, which is still a lot. But I mean, to get a HD screen, and it better have both tactile and touchscreen. I don't want one because my thumbs kill after playing like iPhone games or whatever. After a little while, I just can't play anymore because my thumbs hurt.
But I mean,
so I need buttons.
Could you imagine if this thing though, this screen allowed you to play the games away from the console?
Yeah. I'd be playing Ready to Rumble, training my boxer, and getting my chows or whatever they're called to mate.
Oh crap! I need to go to the bathroom, but I don't want to stop playing Smash Bros. Let me put on my controller.
I mean,
could you imagine that? They had some weird thing to switch from screen to there, like
they may only let you play for like 10 minutes or something. But
I mean, there's no doubt that Nintendo will have great first-party support. That's always the biggest thing is first-party. But I think first-party only goes so far
before you get chicken shoot.
Yeah.
Chicken blast.
I mean, Nintendo is a big company in terms of producing games, and they produce probably more than Sony, they produce more than Microsoft, but it's not enough. You kind of need to have a great game coming out for your system almost every month now.
What I'm saying though, like,
you can't do that.
Nintendo has so many big first-party guys.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
almost like I don't even care about.
That's what I'm saying. Like, my
Wii, I own first-party titles. Like,
but the thing is, that's you guys.
Yeah, but I'm not saying
the majority of the market is in it for Call of Duty.
I know,
is
but
in it
that's
for
not what I'm saying, though.
I don't think it's an accurate description of the market, though. I mean, the Wii has sold more consoles than all the other guys.
Yeah, but software hasn't sold anything like any other system.
That's why developers
literally the highest selling piece of entertainment is on everything but the Wii.
Right.
Black Ops sold more than the Bible, I think, at this point. And the first week, it's literally the highest grossing game ever. And it's not on the Wii. So if I was like a Nintendo fan, like diehard Nintendo fan.
No, Black Ops is on the Wii.
Is it on the Wii?
Yeah.
I thought it was just Modern Warfare.
It was Modern Warfare 2 that wasn't. Modern Warfare 1 came.
Regardless, I'm pretty sure
later.
Black Ops on the Wii isn't
Didn't
a
sell
system
that
seller.
No.
What I'm saying is, it's not the same experience. It's not
Yeah.
the same game. It's just it's the
game's
same
all
title,
about, the game's
different
about
game.
online. Online is what makes Call of Duty huge.
But that's not what I was getting at, though.
What?
But I'm saying it's not. I always think to me that the first party is extremely important because that's what I'm saying. Why this console is important for Nintendo, because if they can get that third party market with them,
Oh,
they
they'd
will
be
be
unstoppable.
unstoppable.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they would. They would
Because-
totally be unstoppable. If they made it so that developers didn't have to make a second version of their game to
Yeah,
work on their
it's
console,
annoying.
so then they had powerful third party and then obviously their incredible first party. Like what would Microsoft have? Really?
Because
Like,
that's when Sony's gonna be like, holy crap.
and then they'll get Crash Bandicoot.
Well, I
back.
can't even say Sony. What about Microsoft?
That's
like,
what I'm
Microsoft
saying,
be like,
like-
holy crap, because it's like, what? How many Halos are gonna release in Gears of War until you say, this is not enough? Like, you know what I mean?
I think the most disruptive thing Nintendo could do would be to partner with Google for their online. If they made it so that anyone with a Gmail account could get online and they'd made it an open network, letting all the developers in the world use, the pre-built, Android marketplace or whatever.
It'd be interesting too because with the Wii, they use the Opera browser, and it's
Right.
probably because Chrome wasn't out yet.
Exactly.
And so like, yeah, well, maybe with Project Cafe, they'll have a built-in Chrome browser and just have all these like little things. Like even if they just had Google kind of work on some of their software, like the OS software.
Well, I just think to host the servers so that they're not using Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't have a network. PlayStation has a network. Xbox has a network. There is no Nintendo network.
Yeah, there's no infrastructure built.
Right,
That's
but
true.
Google is.
Yeah.
Google there. Google has the servers doing all that. And that's the one area Google is not competing with Microsoft on is games.
Oh man, that would be a slap in the face
To help
actually.
Nintendo just beat their
Yeah.
ass,
We'll find out next
So-
week.
I know, but it's really kind of exciting to think. What if Nintendo got their third party act straight, and so they had their third party and first party just like.
That would be.
I mean, because
just
the
amazing.
rumors of the games that are coming out for the Project Cafe are kind of ridiculous. There's a new Metroid from supposedly, of course, from Retro Studios, the Metroid Prime guys, and then there's a new Smash Brothers. Now, could you imagine if both of those were launch titles?
No.
Including, in addition to things like Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty, whatever it is when it comes out. If all those things came out all at once within the first month of launching the system.
No.
No?
I don't like Metroid other end because they made
Not-
Samus talk.
Well,
Not
maybe,
other end.
maybe Link
Don't
will
worry.
talk in
No.
Skyward Sword.
No.
He'll be like,
You know
"Nah."
what'd be great? If they build it like that, like, oh my god, Link's gonna talk finally, and he only
Hey,
says
guys.
like one line in the game, like
His
oh,
first word is, "Hey, listen."
His
So,
voice is really deep. That'd be great.
Hey,
Hey,
listen.
do you guys
Step
remember,
back, Ganon.
do you guys remember the 3DS?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I heard there were games coming out for it one day.
Nintendo has to address this whole the whole 3DS. They have
They
to.
are. They're going to.
They're gonna,
It's-
they're gonna blow us
supposedly,
away. I predict a blowing
2/3
away.
of this press conference is going to be for 3DS, and then like the other third is Project Cafe,
Probably.
which means they're not talking about Wii, which sucks because
They'll mention one Wii game coming
No,
out.
well, they'll mention
Oh,
Kirby
yeah.
and they'll mention Zelda, but other than that, I mean, really,
I think-
what do they
Yeah, I
have?
think Skyward Sword's gonna be the launch.
It's like the swan song, just like Twilight Princess or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Zelda's gonna bring that
I mean,
money
but
ass
yeah,
too.
the 3DS. I mean, we have one. We don't even have a theme for it. And
I got Game Fine.
yeah, well, that's because
Well, I
Yeah.
have a hard
Ocarina of
time.
Time's out soon. So.
I have a
Yeah,
hard time
exactly.
convincing myself to spend $40 on another Street Fighter, and then like
Or Ridge Racer.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Ridge Racer is interesting because when you play Ridge Racer, you'll have a good time. But I've literally played it on everything. I don't know if there's a console that doesn't have a Ridge Racer.
I stopped playing mine.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, I don't think
every
Saturn
Ridge
did.
Racer is just.
I'm sure there's got to be a Ridge Racer.
Yeah, there is for Sega CD,
Saturn?
but I don't think Saturn did.
Yeah, I don't know.
it's Ridge Racer.
You know what? They
for
probably
Wii.
wouldn't be because they had Daytona and they had Sega Rally already.
Yeah.
They probably didn't
And they were
want
better. They were good.
I-
Sega Rally was.
Daytona USA, dude, getting the code to play as a horse.
Oh
The
yeah.
little baby horses.
That was great.
So good.
There's a lot of fighters on the 3DS too. Blast Blue came
You know
out
what?
too.
But you know what? That's a good thing because
Dead or Alive. I'm excited.
because all of history has not had good fighters on handhelds, and it's
Yeah.
good to finally see that kind of come out. Who knows? Maybe we'll get Street Fighter versus Tekken on a handheld, and we can all be happy. But yeah, I mean, 3DS games you got coming out. There's a ton that are actually
Zelda's just gonna
coming
sell.
out or rumored to come out. Yeah, Ocarina of Time being a big one.
Yeah. Since I can't afford a DS until Santa brings me it at Christmas time. All right.
He said Santa.
I'm mainly waiting for Kid Icarus anyway, and that's not coming out till like October, and that's
And that
my
was-
huge game. I'm very excited. To
Wasn't
get.
that supposed to be a launch title?
Yes, I believe it was. I played it at
Yeah.
PAX, and I was very surprised at how good it was.
I was really worried with the 3DS because I'm left-handed and there's only one analog stick on the left side, which means if it's a game that requires the analog stick and the stylus, I'm screwed because my right hand doesn't do anything. I can't hold a pencil
Retarded, yeah.
with it. It's like awful. So I was just so worried because that game happens to require both the touchscreen and the analog stick. But I actually played it and I had no problem, which is kind of surprising.
I have to say this though, but Nintendo, games like Kid Icarus and Star Fox should have been out by now. There is no excuse at this point. for them to
I
say
already
that.
forgot about Star Fox.
Like,
I can't
I
wait.
can understand.
What's a Star
me too.
Fox?
The Star Fox, I can understand with the Zelda. They want to the whole experimental issue thing.
Yeah.
They want to see how Zelda does, but
Zelda's
Zelda's not.
classic games sell well.
Zelda is not a game where you should be experimenting with in the first place because people are gonna buy anything that has to do with Zelda.
Yeah, exactly.
You can almost say the same for all like their main titles. Like I'm huge on Metroid. I'll buy every Metroid game that comes out. Even I didn't even like Prime, and I own it on like four different copies of it.
Me too.
I have the trilogy. I own all the GameCube ones. I own it for Wii. You know what I mean? I can't not like them. I own
Better
Metroid 2
not
the
have
Game
one
Boy,
of
for
them.
Christ's sake.
Better not.
You better not have all of that. I
But,
don't understand the hate for other.
You start
It's
throwing
like
out, Mario, Kirby, all that. It's just gonna sell automatically. I'm excited.
You go to IGN. There's so much hate for this damn Metroid.
you know why?
game. There's
Because
no hate.
because they didn't make it themselves.
Yep.
That's why.
Exactly.
In my version of Metroid, Samus was a lesbian, and you guys didn't make her a lesbian, so I hate you now. And Dead or Alive sucks because this game sucks.
Dead or Alive is great.
I love Dead or Alive.
I didn't
I'm
even
not
play
gonna-
the 3DS
not gonna
one.
lie.
I know I did play it at PAX. Never mind. It was great. I love that series. I would play that over any 3D fighter. It's the only one I actually enjoy. Sorry, Tekken fans. I'm not really big on.
just think-
Crazy.
Make
Tekken
me
5
cry.
was it because I liked Hwoarang and I kicked ass with them.
I mean, I just think that Nintendo probably learned from the 3DS launch being as mediocre as it was, and hopefully the Project Cafe launch will be just amazing.
Nintendo's known for crappy launches.
Honestly, you know
throughout
what?
History.
It would make sense as to why I'm starting to think about this, why they launched the 3DS as early as they did. Because if they had waited 3 months until all the good games come out, they're like having two systems announced at the same time. You know, like I'm like, here's the 3DS, but by the way, here's Project Cafe.
Yeah, now they
And there's
can
no
worry
time
about-
between them, so now there's actually been time between them. They
Yeah.
can start getting good games out on the 3DS while getting people excited for a new system that they don't have to worry about buying for
Nintendo's
another
gonna
year.
sell out of the 3DSs anyway, just because of the fact that it's unassisted 3D, glasses. Everyone's gonna want that. Once they start releasing movies for it, I don't think people are gonna be buying that system for the games, just like the Wii. You're gonna be buying it for the experience.
I'm really worried about the movies for it because from what I've seen at their preview event back in January, I was really underwhelmed by the movies.
You know what though? I think that had to do with the way they put it on
Right.
there. It was
This
like
was-
compression was just awful.
Yeah, this was all just probably experimenting at the time too, but and the thing is the same with the OK Go video they give you. Compression is bad, the audio is really low, and you have to wear headphones, and even then it's really hard to hear.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, does Nintendo have, and do they have what it takes too to partner with all these other companies?
I think he's got to
To
partner with
distribute
one,
it.
man. He's got to partner with Netflix or something.
No, you can't partner.
Well,
you gotta
they'd have to partner
with
with like Sony and
Yeah.
like, and what's the other one? NGM and like all these
Yeah,
really
yeah,
big
who
like
knows? What if Netflix? I didn't even think of that. That'd be a gold
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah.
Netflix on 3DS. Yeah.
3DS and all
So that would be good.
Yeah.
gold mine right there.
Well, they already have it for
Phones,
the
so
Wii.
it-
So it's already like
Well, I do it for phones,
on
yeah.
the store. So I would be very surprised.
But the thing is, I don't know if they want to go into streaming games though, or streaming movies. They probably want to sell the movies like the PSP tried.
But I was just gonna say, you know what? Maybe they'll take it as a
I don't
lesson
think
learned
so.
from the PSP
Hopefully.
and
I don't
avoid
think
it
they will, 'cause-
because
Yeah.
also you're dealing with storage at that point. Like,
Yeah,
like
that's
they're gonna have to
what-
either sell them on cartridges or you download them, and they're not gonna want to put them on SD cards because it was a nightmare on the Wii with like, oh, we're not gonna do system storage. Oh, we ran out of system memory. Here's an SD card. It doesn't really work right. Okay, sorry. And so like they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna be too afraid to have it as a download service where it's actually stored on your
Probably
on
why
your,
we haven't
your
heard anything
SD.
about
And
it.
they're afraid of the internet already anyway.
I think at this point, I don't know. I think once you have Netflix, it's like that's enough. You don't
Yeah,
need
well, that's
to
what I mean.
have-
They just need a streaming service,
Yeah.
and they'll be okay.
They do it to partner with Netflix to get 3D working, because obviously
Yeah.
that would be pretty cool.
I don't know if I'd want to stream 3D movies though.
As long as there's enough internal storage, it'll cache. And...
That's true. Yeah.
Alright, so moving on from Nintendo to just
So
a
just
hodgepodge of all the other stuff coming out.
yay,
About
yay!
All
Yay.
the let's talk about all the great HDMI cables we're gonna see.
Oh my god, yeah, this is hilarious. Like when you get when you finally get registered for E3 or whatever, it starts like almost like a snowball effect where it's like you might get 1 or 2 emails from random companies you've never heard of. Come see our 56-button controller over here, and then it just like I said, it snowballs into these horrible like, come stare at our HDMI cable.
No.
Hey, and we'll get like 50 HDMI cable.
HDMI cable.
Immersive HDMI
that creates
cables.
an unparalleled level of immersion.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
HDMI cable.
And like you'll get like 7 of those
What?
in a day.
It's gold.
And
That makes it better automatically.
Guess
It's
what?
digital.
it's
It
a digital
doesn't-
signal. You're not gonna get a crappy HDMI
Guess what,
signal.
guys? You go to
Unless
$50 and buy an HDMI cable. It's gonna be the same.
Exactly.
Same HDMI.
it's yes, no. It's not yes, maybe. It's a digital signal. You might lose quality when the wire dies.
Like if it frays, like yeah, you get better quality in terms of construction. Like this one frays less, but you're not gonna get a cleaner, clearer picture.
I don't touch my wires like ever.
once
Mine
they
are, like,
once they're
caked
plugged
dust
in,
from not
I
being
mean,
touched for years.
Try having
So-
a TV with like 1 port. HDMI ports.
Oh, my TV is decked out with ports. I made sure of that.
Oh, we gotta switch
3
it. finally.
HDMIs and like 2 components.
All right, so let's talk about publishers though. I mean,
EA, they're. I'd be really, really, really amazed if EA had some sort of like investor meeting next year, in March, and they'll announce that they had losses because I mean they got so much good stuff coming out.
Poltergeist.
It's-
That'd be great.
Poltergeist, yeah, there you go.
yes,
Maybe that's Sony's other unannounced
Haunting,
title.
baby.
Is
you guys didn't
Poltergeist.
see that, but that was the worst high five ever.
That was
Doesn't
pretty
matter.
That was
They
pretty
can't
bad.
see it, so it's okay.
Well, yeah, I
could've
mean, they
pretended
got-
it was good.
They got SSX, which if they can pull this off and actually make it good, it's going to make a killing. I mean,
Yeah.
when they saw that debut trailer and it was like Black Ops with snowboards, I think even the dev studio was like, why did we outsource that trailer? Because they've never even talked about that video, that catastrophe.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, guys, seriously, it's an arcade game. No, where are you going? Oh, damn. And everything they've done since then has been to make sure people know that it's not a serious game.
Yeah, no, the dev
So-
videos are great, and they really show that it's gonna be classic SSX,
Yeah.
and it's,
So-
I want that.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then there's Mass Effect.
tree.
Mass Effect Tree, which apparently has Kinect support now.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
I'm intrigued. I'll say that. I'm intrigued.
You're gonna
If I didn't already own Kinect, it wouldn't get me to go out and buy Kinect. I'll also say that.
watch. It's just gonna be used for the Galaxy map, and that's it.
Oh, that would be so stupid. I'd better be able to fling
So
people
you can
along the
click
walls.
pick dialogues you want just by the wave of a hand. I want to see
No, I
this.
didn't mean that one. Crap.
Oops. Move my hand too low.
What are you gonna do if I use both hands?
There's a female. I'll just adjust my hands right in front of her.
You can touch the character's cheek with this Kinect.
You can brush it lightly.
Maybe I could slap Rex on the ass. Nice job, Krogan.
Shepard.
What else? I mean, they're gonna talk about Need for Speed, cross country tour, whatever it is.
Whichever Need for Speed they're working on.
Your speed 92. Pro
How
FM.
about bringing back NBA Street? All right?
They're gonna
I
talk
like
about
NBA
Madden.
Jesus.
They're gonna talk about.
Could you
all that.
imagine if they said something like they're reopening EA Big?
Oh god, that'd be great.
That was like their best division they've ever had, and then they shut it down because they're like, no, people want realism,
They don't.
and then that happened.
Like, I don't really think. I kind of like NBA Jam was the next guy, but NBA Street Volume 2 was probably one of the best arcade sports games
Well,
ever.
it was a natural
Like-
evolution of it. That's
Yeah.
why it went from being NBA Jam, complete silliness, and then you had like the serious NBA Jam games, which nobody played ever. I'm pretty sure they actually didn't even work. You bought the game, there was no disc in it, but nobody noticed.
Broken.
So then NBA Street came out, and NFL Street, and all those, and it was the perfect way to kind of evolve those crazy arcade games into something slightly more serious, but not really. And then they're like, we're taking that out, we're taking Freak Style out, and SSX, and we're gonna make serious games. And then they sucked, and so they were so scared that they spiraled back to NBA Jam again.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
And so,
Perfect example of any of that is them trying to be serious is Def Jam Icon.
oh my God, what happened there? It's like you had. It's great because if you like rap music, you get to pick your favorite rapper and beat people up. If you don't like rap music, you get to beat up Flava Flav. It was perfect. And then they're just like, no, we're going to make Def Jam Icon where there's some crazy-ass DJ mechanic that they couldn't even understand. I don't even think the developers knew how it worked.
Scratch the air.
And you scratch the air, and it remixes the city or some shit. And it was just like, the controls sucked because they were trying to use Fight Night instead of the engine they've been using for years. And it sucked really bad.
It wasn't Def Jam. They should have called it 106 and Park the game.
Yeah, the RPG. Oh, I would
It's
actually.
like, yeah, this game has Little John. Buy it, please.
Did it have Little John?
Yeah.
They did.
Damn, maybe we gotta go back and play that
Now
now.
I want a free game.
But it's still, it's still playing like garbage.
Well, it'd be garbage with Lil Jon yelling over it, so it'd just be like Lil Jon.
The game.
The game. Lil Jon the game. That's another one that needs to be made.
So Activision, they still make games? I don't even know.
I mean, I'm not even
Activision,
sure if
yeah, kind of.
Activision's going to be there. That's the thing.
They are. I think they've humbled themselves a lot over the last year. Because I think they realized they finally reached a boiling point where everybody was referring to them as Satan. And it's just like, and then, of course, they're like, oh, how did we get this reputation? We have no idea. Oh, by shutting down studios, by doing basically everything you can do to...
By raping me with Usher.
Yeah, okay, having their preview event last year.
Remake Pitfall.
Yeah, Pitfall.
So,
it'll be the good Uncharted.
what I'm saying is I think Activision's really kind of learned from that. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say they're not an evil company anymore.
Yeah.
But I think that they're starting to realize, like, kind of like EA did after a while, where they're like, oh yeah, we have an audience that we need to cater to. And so I think they're going to start doing that. So if we see them at E3, it's not going to be some stupid-ass big presentation. And they're not doing any Guitar Hero or Tony Hawk this year, so we don't have to worry about that. And what they are showing, Modern Warfare, stuff like that,
That's why I want to stop you. Modern Warfare, stuff like that. What is that stuff?
But they're not doing a crazy event, is what I'm saying.
Battlefield is the stuff like that.
No, Battlefield's EA.
Yeah.
So what else does Activision have?
Oh,
other than
besides
Warfare 3?
Modern Warfare, what do they have? Not Tony Hawk, I'll tell you that.
I mean, they
Nobody wants
Guitar
Tony
Hero's
Hawk.
taking a hiatus. DJ Heroes, they haven't said it, but probably is too.
Yeah,
it's
no, it
not
is.
dead.
It's the developer's still around though. They didn't shut down the studio, so they're working on something. But
I think
it's not
DJ
DJ
Hero
Hero.
I think DJ Hero's coming out because they had a thing on the page, on their Facebook page, talking about the people that were making DJ Hero are making something new. So
Yeah.
it's probably DJ Hero.
What else? Though? There's not much coming from
But I
Activision.
think for Activision, it to me, it's what about it? What about other things? Because they have Modern Warfare. It's kind of like, what the fuck? What does it matter? Like, at this point, like,
What matters is that they're a huge publisher, and from a business.
Well, yeah, you
they
know what?
can't-
Actually, it's
no
probably
matter
going to
how
be Blizzard
big-
stuff then. We'll probably see
Yeah.
a lot of stuff from Activision Blizzard, like Diablo. Where the hell did that go?
what's that? I
Yeah,
remember that
they're
Windows
coming out
95.
with Diablo.
Yeah, Diablo 3 is.
They've been coming out with a new Diablo for like the last
Yeah.
7 years.
No, but you know what? Like, if you to go to places like Gamma Sutra and like CreativeHeads.net, LinkedIn, all that stuff, they always have listings for random, like a 360 programmer. Why would they need one? When was the last time Activision and Blizzard released anything on a console, or Blizzard for that matter? Like, so I mean, they're doing something for consoles, and we'll find out what it is. It's almost 110% confirmed Diablo 3.
Why
though.
isn't World of Warcraft?
They don't want to go there. The problem
They
is,
can't on Xbox won't allow subscription.
yeah, with Xbox in particular, their players would be paying their subscription fee as well as Microsoft's Xbox Live subscription fee. So to play it on
Fantasy 11
to
did.
play it on 360,
Yes,
yeah, it did.
Final Fantasy 11 did that.
Yeah, it did.
You had to pay for both.
You had to pay for both.
And people did it.
And yeah, I know, but
And smiled and took it, you know?
you know why? Because there are still people who play it on PS2.
Yeah. Well, that's
There's something weird about that game that apparently people are willing to play
Yeah,
it on a
couldn't you
toaster.
couldn't
It's
you
called
transfer
denial.
and you could transfer
Yeah.
your character, couldn't you? I think.
I
I'm
miss
not sure.
Fantasy Star Online, man. Come on.
Fantasy Star was great.
That was on GameCube, wasn't it? Online
Yes.
for that.
Yeah.
And then Xbox had.
So you know what
Fantasy Star
what you're saying might actually be something Activision will do at E3 is start announcing all these crazy ass things that they
'Cause they really- they
either
haven't
old
talked about
franchises or just something. They got a Spider-Man game coming out too.
it. Okay.
That's true.
Alright, no,
Capcom. Capcom. Street Fighter
Chirp,
vs. Tekken.
chirp, chirp. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Also got
I heard they're
Resident
making
Evil-
Lost Planet 3.
Well, you got Resident Evil Revelations,
Mercenary.
Resident Evil Mercenaries, and now you have Resident Evil Operation Screw Up Raccoon City.
Yeah. They should just make The Sims Raccoon City.
I mean, we could get a new
Play that.
full-fledged Resident
Lego
Evil.
Reconciliation.
You know what? They've kind of hinted at new actual Resident Evil game, because they've been saying for the core series, Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, whatever, they want them to come out faster than the time period between 4 and 5 because they claimed it was too long.
It was
between them, which
for
it was.
what we got, especially.
Especially for what we got.
That was like a yearly
they've been
Activision
saying,
release.
I think 3 and 4 was a pretty long wait too.
They've been saying they want the next installment to come out sooner rather than later.
Came out yesterday. Didn't notice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's, and I'm also really glad to hear that the guy who made 5 has nothing to do with the new one.
Yeah.
Because seriously, I was taking cover in a shootout against zombies.
Boulder punches.
Boulder punches, yes.
Volcanoes.
It's like, yeah, we've been away from zombies. Let's go back, please.
Can we go back to zombies? It sounds weird to say that because every game has zombies in it now. But can the one game that was about zombies go back to zombies,
bring back
please?
zombies, you bring back Crimson Heads again, and then
Crimson Heads.
Crimson Heads would be a great idea. Resident Evil 2 with Crimson Heads.
Remake Resident Evil 2.
Do it.
Freaking do it already.
Hire me. I did an awesome
I think-
EDK level of it.
I think
I'm
that's
looking for a
actually on the
job,
to-do
too.
list with Final Fantasy VII. They're going to be released on one disc. Resident Evil 2 and Final Fantasy VII remakes
Oh yeah.
for the NGP.
It's gonna be on the size of a laser disc, though. All right. 2K has a lot of stuff this year, doesn't it?
Yeah, they got like Aliens, Colonial Marines. They're still not talking about whatever the hell Border Worlds is, but they trademarked it, so it's something.
Well, they even have like more immediately. They have Duke Nukem. I mean, that's obviously probably gonna be on hand for to play. Hoping it's actually a campaign.
I'm hoping they let you play multiplayer.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really had a chance to do that.
Makes
So.
sense. Now would be the time to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's because that's coming out the following week. They have the Darkness 2, which looks amazing.
I was really surprised with that at PAX. Like, I mean, I like Darkness 1, and then I saw Darkness 2. I was like, it's probably okay. And then I saw it, like, actually saw it in person. I was blown away with the kind of stuff they're thinking.
Quad wielding.
The quad wielding thing is pretty cool. But just being able to, like, rip off a car door and then use it as a shield, but do it fluidly, like, not just like a context-sensitive mechanic thing that just
Press
like
X and then it appears. In the
yeah, and it's just the way they showed it. And then after he was done with it, he just tossed it at the guy and cut him in half.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just pretty cool. It makes people seem like they're made out of paper, but it's still pretty cool.
It's a Final Destination.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody is just ready to fall apart, just like in Final Destination.
Another thing about 2K is the NBA franchise they have. I mean, what are they gonna add to this for 2K?
That's
NBA
right. They were
11.
voted best sports game last year, and like
their sports games are phenomenal. They
Yeah.
always have been, and I wonder what they're gonna do with the new games. I mean, the last game was all about Jordan. What are they gonna do with this game? I mean,
Shaq.
at this point,
Shaq,
the
he
game
retired.
the game is so much it's so perfected to the point where it's like, what do you do? What's next?
That's true.
Update the stats.
Huh?
Update all the stats, all the players.
Now they know why
Rosters.
scan their faces, man. Like we were saying.
I mean,
Oh, I know.
you also have,
Make it cel shaded.
Make them all just have different animations.
You also have BioShock Infinite, which is
Oh, yeah.
huge.
Irrational and yeah.
And we've all seen the demo that they have, but I mean, from what I've heard on like Twitter, people are saying that the E3 demo is amazing,
Yeah, it's probably balls to the walls good.
and so they're gonna
Now we're
just
in the
gonna
air,
blow us away
so
with that.
we did the water. Now we're in the air, so I'm excited to see.
I'm just it's
What we're
really
gonna do
cool
now.
because like
Flying through clouds and crap. You know what I mean?
Silence
Oh,
your
at least-
cell phone,
At
mister.
least twice.
silence.
You know that.
Say it's an airplane.
Maybe falling down to get to the next platform. I don't know. It looks exciting.
It's intense.
I'm just really interested in seeing the whole like overly patriotic to the point of being just like warped kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, you look at some of the enemies and they just look so. They literally must have just looked at like motivational American posters and stuff,
Propaganda
and found
from the turn
like
of the century.
propaganda, yeah, from like the turn of the century, and just found a way to turn them into monsters. And that's really awesome. I mean, it's a really cool idea.
Oh, also, the protagonist talks.
Yeah, finally, thank God.
You're not a big daddy, are you?
No, you're not a
No.
big daddy.
Thank God.
You're a what are those I'm never gonna
Big
think of this.
Daddy
So just
B.
move on.
Anyway, Valve.
Valve. They've literally said we're not going to E3. We have nothing to show. But you're friggin' Valve. I mean, the problem though here is that Valve has finally reached a point where they have to make a part 3 of something.
Amazon.
Of something. Like every single one of the franchises that anybody cares about is already at 2. You can't make Team Fortress 2 2. So you're gonna have to make Team Fortress 3, or like Left 4 Dead 3, or dare I say it, Half-Life 3. Remember that series?
Blasphemy.
Blasphemy. And it's, I mean, again, that would be something else with one of Sony's mystery games.
Or
It-
even Xbox.
Because,
Xbox
well, no,
needs
because
stuff
now
too.
they're kind of in bed with Sony, especially after
That's
last
true,
year's
though.
E3. They're talking about how PS3 is a superior game, And how, I mean, not that Half-Life 3 won't sell already anyway, but how much more of a guarantee would it be if they did the same thing with Half-Life 2 they did with Portal 2, where the PS3 version comes with the PC version?
Yeah, and there's Steam Play between
And
the
there's
two.
Steam Play
I mean,
between the two. Like, that would be...
I love that with Portal 2.
That would be like a system seller for the PS3 right there for people who have a PC and want to play it somewhere else. So just get the PS3 version and get both copies of it. Oh yeah, Konami.
Oh,
What,
yeah.
what does Konami have?
Just
I'm
those
calling
are the
this
things.
right now. This is gonna be another Dance Dance Revolution game.
I'm gonna have to challenge Naoki again.
Well,
year.
I mean, they just wrapped up with their pre-E3 show.
Which was a lot of flashcards.
Yeah, it started off showing us everything we had seen last year. We saw Never Dead again, but they explained everything again. We saw.
It looks better than.
It looks. You
It
know,
looks
I'm
good.
kind of more excited for that one than I was.
Yeah, I
would
guess
say.
because when they take away the cheesy magician show afterwards, you kind of pay attention to the game.
Yeah.
And they also showed Silent Hill Downpour, which looked more polished than it did last year. A lot more polished. 'Cause
Yeah, it
last
did.
year, I remember they're showing like shots where it's raining outside and it was stuttery as hell. And they fixed that, so that's got some promise there. Plus, it's Silent Hill. I mean, looks creepy.
It does. It does. It looks like they're kind of going a little back in terms of the design concept, because Silent Hill started off as a series where it's a Japanese developers with their idea of what an American horror game is. And then somehow, I don't know what happened, but towards the end it became an American game, or at least a Western game, being made to depict what they think Japanese horror is. And so it kind of like did a 360. This one just seems to be doing its own thing, like its own brand of like psychological horror.
What I find interesting is now this
Puppy
time
jumped on me.
you're a convict this time.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah,
other times you're a hometown hero, you're a dad, all this stuff.
Well,
Now
part
you're
one
a
was
criminal.
just you were just a guy. Like, you were just like a father and nothing more.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the other ones are like, you're like a talented writer.
Yeah, then the baby he lost became the girl in number 3, and it was just ridiculous. The story is great.
Yeah.
What were you with the game where Silent Hill
Oh, that was Silent Hill 4. So we don't talk about Silent Hill 4. That game was like, no, it was when it was first conceived, it wasn't even a Silent Hill game. And then they're like, well, let's tie it in. And it's like, oh, well, your landlord is the father of the guy from 2, and he kept his umbilical cord for some reason. Moving on. That was like the old. There was like, I mean, it was loosely tied to 2, but it was so loosely tied.
Hey.
Yeah, it's so loosely tied that this dog
there's
is
a dog in
upset.
here all of a sudden.
Dog, get out of this rich $1 million studio. What are you doing?
We'll let the dogs in.
This is a security dog.
Alright, that's it. We're closing down Glitchy Tasty for that shit.
But yeah,
So,
I mean,
Zone of Vendors HD.
yeah, Zone of Vendors HD, that's actually really cool. You know, it'd be crazy if that wasn't at E3, like on display in some way, shape, or form.
Ico.
What's an Ico?
Ico.
Oh
What-
crap,
what-
we didn't even talk about that with Sony.
Yeah, I know. That's
Wow,
sad.
yeah. So we're going to talk about that.
Zone of the
Ico's gonna
Enders.
be there. Okay, that's
Oh.
it. No, but with the...
Last
also-
Guardian and Ico.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a date on one of those.
Yeah, the
Like,
Shadow and Colossus Ico combination.
you know, it'd be great
came
if
out
they were
a
like,
month ago.
yeah, the Ico and Shadow Colossus HD collection. Not only is it coming out, but we're giving everybody a copy. And then Oprah comes
that'd
out
be
and
great.
gives everybody a copy.
Yeah, Oprah might make her
Yeah,
appearance.
get a
She's
copy.
looking for another
Yeah, Oprah might make an appearance. She might be the next Kevin Butler.
project. She might develop her own game studio.
Oh God.
Oh, geez, she doesn't have money to do so.
Well, I mean,
You feel like your favorite thing.
back to Konami. I mean, they did announce...
Exactly.
They announced their HD collections for the PS3 and Xbox.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With Metal Gear, with
2, 3, and Peace Walker.
yeah, which is kind of weird they exclude one, but anyway. But then
Oh, one never
they
happened.
introduced transferring.
Transfar.
Transferring. There we go.
Well,
You know, Transfar was nothing.
look, I'm gonna do what Konami could have done without using 25 minutes of my life and say it's a way to move your saves from the PS3 to the PSP
And back.
and back.
Yeah, and
Continue playing.
Now, to
continue
be fair,
playing
they
them.
did have a Mega 64 skit, which was great, and they should have ended it on that. But then
Well,
they
yeah,
went.
that's fine.
They
But then
explained every
they
detail.
they made 2 other completely unrelated videos about how to do the same thing. It was so dumb.
Well,
wow.
they realized
I'm
they,
still wrapping my head around
they,
this.
they had a review board that was judging the awkwardness because after last year they had a lot to
They
live
had
up
they,
with
they had a
awkwardness.
lot to reach to. Like,
Yeah,
there was
with
a lot to-
awkwardness, and they realized this year is not awkward enough. we need to bring up the awkwardness.
Well, I wish we didn't fall asleep so much watching because they did mention PS2 game. It said PS2,
And they had an arrow
Yeah.
with
and
PS2.
but we were busy like snoozing, so I don't even know if they were really like if they were saying all of a sudden you can put your PS2 games.
I think
to
I'm
transfer.
guessing for the NGP, there's gonna be some kind of PS2 to
That would be great.
some kind of connection going on.
That
with
would be great.
PS2 does have USB. Then again, you have to have a working PS2.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, you can just use your PS2. Oh,
Make something
wait,
simple
unless you
as an
have 60
update for the
gig.
PS3 and just allow me to play PS2 games on it.
Yeah, they'll never do
That's
that.
not gonna happen.
Or allow me to just transfer my PS2 game. Maybe not even play it. Just allow me to transfer the data from the play in my PS3. Because it'll still take the disc. It just won't do anything with
So you guys are like, oh, that is if you have a PS2. Like it's hard to find a
it.
PS2.
It's like $10.
All right, so
I
with
can't
all of
go- I can't
E3,
afford that. That's
Give them away with a
like,
cup of coffee at Dunkin' Donuts.
No.
with all of E3, what is one either reboot, franchise, whatever? What is one thing you would love to see, regardless of who owns it at this point in time?
Angry Birds.
Angry Birds remake?
It's not too soon.
That's not at all.
Not at all.
I'm gonna
Angrier
go,
Birds.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with what Eric said and Haunting starring Poltergeist.
Oh,
That
man.
game needs
To
a
revive a
remake.
series, you know what I mean? That game was, it's a game that probably nobody's played, and it's
I
just
played
really good. You're a
You
dead
could
kid
do-
haunting the family that killed you. What
You
more
can
do
do
you
so
need?
much with that stuff now, with just like
Oh yeah.
scaring the crap out and turn it more into like into a horror game. Because that game did scare me as a kid. Like I was afraid of my toilet. I didn't want my toilet to start like screaming at me and getting eyes. That was scary. So do that now. I mean, make me afraid of my toilet again.
What about you, Tony? What series do you want to see come back?
I want a new Persona 5. I want a Persona 5 game. I think it's what Japanese RPGs need to be at this moment in time.
You sure you don't want another version of Disgaea?
No.
You sure?
Need
What about
fast-
Makai Kingdom?
Need a fast battle system in RPG games now. There's only this whole slow paced Japanese RPG system that's been around for so long. It's just like it doesn't add time to a game. Like you're like, oh, this game is like 90 hours, yeah, because it's annoyingly long.
But
to get to
Tony,
a battle.
it's just a gentleman's RPG.
See, I would want to say that I want to see the Busta Groove series come back, but I'm afraid of what the music genre has become. And it would be this really crappy, watered down, like, oh, we don't want to put Japanese music, so we'll put Avril Lavigne in it, kind of like, kind of thing. So I don't want that to come back if that's what's going to happen. So, I mean, I guess what I would actually want to come back, Streets of Rage.
Oh, you guys,
But I would have to be the guy to make it.
you guys were talking about series that are just not there.
Yeah, like either
Oh.
needs to be rebooted or something like
Well,
that.
yeah, Streets of Rage is definitely. I want new rival schools too.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that
I
series.
just want to say, what if they brought back Parappa the Rapper but made it edgy?
What up, bitches?
The thing is with those
This is
kind
P-Raps.
those kind of games could. I mean, you can have Parappa the Rapper with real music. It's
You could. I would
but
love to
it's-
see him rap to Lupe Fiasco.
But it's just like
Why?
that's a handheld thing to me. You know what I mean? This
Yeah.
again, it's a
Well,
handheld
hell,
game.
NGP would be a
Yeah.
perfect time to bring him back. If they can't commit him to the actual console, then why not? Or better yet, make it for NGP and PS3, but PS3 through the PSN, like a downloadable title.
Yeah.
They could totally do that. Make more DLC packs, like extra
You
songs
know
and stuff.
how many people will jizz in their pants over freaking Rock Band Unplugged?
Oh, I could play Jackson 5!
Yeah, it's not that
Herb derp.
amazing.
I have Rock Band on my iPhone. Yay.
Actually, that's way more fun than the PSP one.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
It'd be easier too.
It's easier, it's just more fun.
I want Eternal Champions remade. There I
That's a
said
good
it.
Killer Instinct. I mean,
Eternal Champions, Killer Instinct, Time Killer. I don't care. Remake any of
Time Killers?
Time
Splitters.
Killers
Are
is
you,
the best game.
are you serial about Time Killers?
I love that game.
Okay.
Time Splitters.
In the arcade.
Yes,
it
Time
sucked
Splitters.
balls on Genesis, but
Which-
in the arcade, Time Killers was badass.
Okay. Yeah, because Time Splitters, I mean, it's Crytek who owns the rights to them now, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, just imagining Time Splitters, even if they just remade the first one, but with the Cry engine.
I mean-
a little ridiculous.
I mean,
but-
there are already fun FPSs coming out now. We had Bulletstorm, we have Duke Nukem Forever, and you have Serious Sam. So if these games all
Where's
do
Commander
well,
Keen, though?
No,
well,
he
these-
died.
if these games all do well, they can prove
That
that
in Doom 2.
gamers don't need serious FPSs. They can have some fun FPSs And then maybe Crytek will say, oh, well, we have this great franchise we're sitting on. Let's do it.
Cry splitters.
Cry splitters. Time criers.
Time
Criers.
No, Time Splitters.
Sounds like an emo band.
We're time criers. We don't care what you think of us. Buy our album.
Time
Or not.
Crisis.
We're not. We don't care.
Time Splitters. Crybaby.
Copyright 2011. Glitchy Media, LLC. For more information, head to glitchytasty.com. Kie Palmer's wearing my jeans a gabba gad fshigara gad fshigara garagara.